Yeah, boy, I know it's really hot. No, boy, I don't have any snacks for us. I told you, when the weatherman said it was a super derecho, I misheard and I thought he said super Dorito. Yeah, I know. You're hungry, but it's just too hot to cook. Although, you know what? You don't have to cook. There's plenty of cold soups that you could eat. Russian borsch and French vichyssoise both come to mind, but you know what's really good, boy, is the Spanish gazpacho. In fact, I think I'll make some right now. Hi, I'm Bill, this is Bacon, and today on another cooking show, we're going to make gazpacho. Now, if you're familiar with gazpacho, you know that it's got a lot of tomatoes in it. And while if you've watched this before, you know I'm not opposed at all to using canned tomatoes, this is something where you really do want to go fresh. So we're going to have to start with a fresh tomato, and I like these plum tomatoes. They have a good amount of body to them and not as much goo and seed in them, so you get a pretty good ratio. But we're not going to want to have the skins in this, so we're going to need to peel them. And I don't think this is going to work. Okay, so I said it's hot and we didn't want to cook with any heat, but you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. To peel tomatoes, the easiest way is going to be flash boil them and then chill them really quickly. So we've got a pot of boiling water here. We're going to add about 1.5 pounds of plum tomatoes. And once they're in, we're going to let this go for 1 minute. I promise this is the last of the actual cooking we're going to do. And after a minute, we're going to quickly kill the heat. And we're going to transfer these to an ice water bath. There you have it. You can see this one's already started to peel quite nicely and the skin's coming off the rest. We just want to keep these in ice water, bring them down nice and cold again. We don't want them to cook. We just want to get them hot enough for the skin to start peeling off. Once they've cooled, you're going to cut them in half. Use your fingers to scoop out the seeds on the inside and then dice these up. And after we've boiled and chilled our tomato, you'll see the skin just peels off very easily. And you don't want to do this with everything because the skin is actually pretty healthy. It has a lot of fiber in it. But for something like gazpacho, some salsas, or tomato sauce, you probably don't want the skin in there because it does have a slightly unpleasant texture depending on how you're making it. So go ahead, cut out the stem or the core, just rip it off. Make sure you get the seeds out because seeds are bitter. Now we're just going to chop this up pretty fine. We're going to take that tomato and we're going to add it to all the other tomatoes I did when you weren't looking. Now to this we're also going to add 1 green and 1 red bell pepper that we've diced. One red onion that we've diced. 1 medium cucumber we've peeled, seeded, and diced. 1 jalapeno pepper. And about 4 cloves of garlic. We're also going to add some seasoning. 1 tablespoon of sea salt, 1/4 tablespoon or 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. We're also going to add a 1/2 cup of olive oil. This is one of those times where you want to use the extra virgin stuff. And a 1/2 cup of white wine vinegar. We're going to go ahead and mix this up. Try and get it distributed and coated as best we can. And right now you're probably thinking, you know, that looks an awful lot like some type of salad. And you know what? Right now, it does. So we're going to have to add some broth. But before we add broth, we're going to want to give this a little bit of body. So we're going to take about a cup of this mixture, maybe a little more. We're going to take about a cup to a cup and a half. We're going to put it in our blender. Close her up. And we're going to puree this for about 20 seconds. You may have to go a bit longer depending on your blender, or a bit shorter. So now we're going to add this back in. This will really help to thicken up the soup once we add the rest of our broth. For the rest of the broth, we're going to add tomato juice. I'm going to start with 2 cups of tomato juice. And we'll mix this up and see how it looks. That's not bad, but we could use a little bit more. So I'm going to add another about 1/2 of a cup. And there you go. We're going to go ahead, we're going to cover this, and we're going to let this sit in the refrigerator at least 2 hours, but the longer the better. And there you have it, gazpacho. Nice, cool, refreshing. You can vary the recipe a little if you'd want. Maybe substitute some red wine vinegar for white wine vinegar, or even add a little balsamic vinegar to give it a little more hearty flavor. Doesn't it look good? Now I know what you're thinking.
But I wanted fish.
Okay, I didn't know what you were thinking. But you know what? We can fix that. So ceviche is a raw fish salad, but not really raw. In fact, if you've watched our last episode, which you should have, you'll probably realize that we aren't afraid to do a little bit of chemistry in the kitchen. What we're going to start with is a pound of scallops. You can use it. You don't have to use scallops. You could use shrimp if you'd like. Bay scallops would be great. If you're going to use sea scallops, you're going to want to cut them down a little to get more surface area. I'm going to put them into a plastic bag. A pound of them, along with about a pound of tilapia. Now to cut the tilapia up into 1/2 inch cubes, it'll help to throw it into the refrigerator for about 15, or throw it into the freezer, sorry, for about 15 minutes to let it get nice and firm so it'll cut evenly and cleanly. Now we're going to add 2 cups of lime juice. Fresh squeezed is best. You're going to want to squeeze anywhere between 8 to 10 limes depending on the size of your limes. Possibly as many as 12. We're going to make sure it's all covered. And we're going to seal our plastic bag. Squeeze out as much air as we can. You're going to want to park this in the refrigerator for at least 10 hours. The longer, the better. No more than a day, but enough until it's cooked through. After several hours in the refrigerator, you'll notice that it looks like it's been cooked on a grill. How did this happen? Well, lime juice is very acidic. On the pH scale, somewhere between 2 and 2.5. So it effectively cooked the fish. We're not done though. Since this is a seafood salad, it would be nice to have some salad accompaniments. And honestly, you can use whatever you'd like. Tropical fruit is a common addition, but I'm going to go with more of a Mexican theme today. So I'm going to use 1 jalapeno pepper that I've diced. 1 red onion that's also been diced. 2 plum tomatoes, you guessed it, diced. 1 yellow or 1 green pepper. Yep, diced. We're also going to add some green onion that we've sliced. And of course, cilantro. Now some people have a bit of a sensitivity to cilantro and it tastes metallic to them. If you're one of those people, just use parsley instead. We're also going to have to add some spices. So we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon ground black pepper, 1/2 tablespoon of oregano. Use fresh if you can. I have trouble finding fresh, so I just use dried. And 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Kosher salt would also work. And now, we just stir to bring this all together. And once this has been mixed, cover it up and put it back into your refrigerator for a few hours to allow the flavors to blend together. And there you have it, ceviche. Goes great with the gazpacho. Now, I know what you're thinking. On second thought, don't answer that. I'm gonna eat. Anyhow, I'm Bill, and Bacon and I want to say thanks for watching.